Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to another one of my do's and don'ts videos on cruising. Cruise ship video about do's and don'ts today. Thanks for joining this channel of mine. If you've just found me on a Google search or a YouTube search, welcome to Traveling with Bruce. I'm Bruce, and I talk about cruise ships all the time and how you can get a good deal on a cruise. I've got playlists on cruising. If you like what this video looks like, if you appreciate it, give me a thumbs up, please. And if you like my channel as a whole, please discover it. Take a look for yourself at all the other videos I've put up. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Love to have you on board as a subscriber. This channel is growing, it's building, and I welcome you to it today. Whether you're an existing cruiser, you know, who's cruised before, cruised a few times, or you're brand new, there are certain things you need to know about cruise ships that are unique to cruise ships. And I thought today I would give you a little rundown of some of the things to kind of keep in mind when you're going on a cruise, okay? First one, just to kind of give you a heads up on, is if you're on a cruise and the cruise stops, you know, after the second day, it stops for the day at a port of call, and you go out there and enjoy yourself, you know, you're with your friends or you're with your better half, keep in mind one very important thing. If you're late coming back to the pier, they might leave without you. Cruise ships do not stick around because passengers didn't return on time. There's a limit as to how long a cruise ship is allowed to stay at a pier, and it then must move on. Otherwise, it is paying serious penalties, thousands of dollars an hour or by the minute to stay longer than it should, because other ships have booked that same pier for later that day. There are instances where cruise ships will drop you off in the morning, will then leave the pier, go out into the water, wait there, and then either come back to the pier to pick you up or only pick you up via tender ships, lifeboats, to take you back to the ship that's out in the harbor. That's how precious and valuable pier space and pier time actually is. So if you're out there on your own, you didn't take a ship tour and you went out on a shopping spree or went out on a you know, lovely excursion, rented a cab, rented a car, or played around to golf, and you come back to the pier too late, you're not getting on that ship. And even if the ship is 10 feet off the pier, it barely just left the pier, they will not stop the ship, bring it back 10 feet, bring out the gangplank and let you get on again. No way. Once they've untied the lines, that ship must leave. The harbor master is basically saying to the captain, you're gone, and that passenger has to fend for themselves. And God help you if you didn't take your passport with you when you left the ship, you didn't bring your wallet with all of your ID and your credit cards, because you're possibly marooned on in another country, most likely, say the Caribbean. You're in Jamaica, or you're in Saint Martin, or what have you. Sounds great, sounds romantic, but oh, it's not fun if you're there without reservations at a resort. You have no passport, you have no ID, and now you need to find an airplane ride at a moment's notice to get off that island. You're paying top dollar. It's a bad situation. So be on time. Don't be late coming back from an excursion on a cruise ship, okay? Other points, your medications. Those of us who need meds, not me necessarily, I'm kind of healthy, thankfully, but you know, if you take daily medications, say high blood pressure pills or diabetes medication, or you know, whatever the ailment, or you know, whatever it is you need it for, prescribed meds, you have got to make sure you bring them aboard the ship in a carry-on bag. Don't leave your meds in your suitcase luggage. Just like being on an airplane, when you take an airplane flight to, say, go on a cruise, you might be close enough to the port city that you're departing from, where you may take, say, a Southwest airline flight, say from, let's say it's from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, real quick flight, 45 minutes. Likely thing is you'll leave the morning of the cruise departure day. You've got a flight every 45 minutes. So if your plane has mechanical issues, you'll just take the next one. You'll get to the cruise ship that day. And then from there, you'll go from LAX or whatever airport you're landing at to your ship. and you'll make your ship because it departs at 4 in the afternoon. Even on a flight like that, as short as that is, your meds have got to be in your carry-on. You'd be crazy to leave it in your suitcase, because if your suitcase goes missing, especially if there's mechanical delays and you have to shift planes, the bag may not arrive until hours later. And so you need your meds with you to take on board the ship, so you have them with you at all times, okay? If you're on a cruise and you're now going for a day trip, on shore for a tour, what have you, make sure whatever meds you need during the time frame that you're off the ship, you have them with you. Because how much space does a couple of bottles of pills take? 1 bottle of pills shouldn't be a problem. So keep them with you at all times so that you have your meds. I would also recommend that you have a list of the meds that you take on a separate sheet of paper, or at least take a cell phone photograph, like a smartphone photo of all your bottles of meds before you even leave the house, so that you have a visual record of the kind of medication that you are taking. And it's not for you to remember necessarily, but it's for a loved one who's with you to remember in case something happens to you. If you're the one taking the meds and you stumble and fall and you hurt your leg badly and you're on shore and you're in a hospital or in a clinic, your meds have gone missing for whatever reason, or you've been robbed or what have you on shore, you have a record with that cell phone. And if you've shared that photo, and this is the other tip here, sharing that photo of your meds with a loved one back home, so just like a text message and send the photo to them, they have it. Now your traveling companion or whoever's with you, or you yourself, can utilize someone else's cell phone to contact your loved ones at home, send that photo of the meds to you, to the email address or whatever you're going to give them digitally, where you are now, and the hospital staff or the clinic staff that are looking after you will know exactly the meds you're taking, the kind of meds you're taking, and then they can help you stay on your regimen. So these are little tips, especially if you're talking to a doctor, say in Puerto Vallarta, about your medication. You want to show the doctor that you had prescribed meds from a doctor, so show the picture of the medicated pill bottle showing the dates when you got the meds and when they're good for, and this will save you a lot of explanation, and also with the language barrier. Medication is medication sort of internationally, and that's just a little safety tip for you to keep in mind. This is stuff you have to think about of the sort of the worst case scenario things, okay? Always take your meds with you on the plane and on the ship on a carry-on. What was I going to tell you too? Yeah, when you get off the ship, like you're on a cruise ship, when you check in on embarkation day, the first day, which is all exciting, you're bringing your passport with you. You've already checked in online for your cruise, and you checked in with your passport online already. The cruise ship has your passport information, but you have to physically bring it along with you anyway. So when you arrive, you've got your passport with you. You get on board the ship, you get to your room. Inside your room is a vault. It's an electrically controlled vault, and you set the PIN number on the vault. So you keep it there for safekeeping, and your wallet and anything else that you don't need to carry with you, and enjoy the ship and have a good time. All the charges to your room will be done on your ship card or on a wristband that they've given you, that type of thing. So you don't need your passport on the ship. But if you're going to go off the ship, say on day 3 or day 4, for a day excursion, take your passport with you. It's a good idea because, again, if you get left behind because you were late to get back to your ship, that's one. Number 2, you're on an excursion and everything goes wrong, the bus breaks down, you're stuck 20 miles from the ship, there's no way you're going to get back, you've got your ID, you've got your passport. A good idea to have your wallet with you as well. Like I say, this is the kind of stuff you have to do to take along with you. Even though you're on a ship excursion, say in Jamaica somewhere, you want to have that with you. Now, if, however, you're going to be, say, on a private island, like Labadee in Haiti with Royal Caribbean, that's a private-run beach area with the zip lines and all the rides and stuff that the cruise line operates all in-house. You're not going to need your passport because you're not leaving the Labadee compound, as it were. You're still on cruise ship property, and the ship won't leave without you because you're there. You're right there. But if you are disembarking the ship and you're going on a private tour getaway for half the day, or you've got friends that live on the island and you're going to get together with them, all proper and all good intentions aside, what if something screws up somewhere and now you have problems getting back? Your travel companion has a stroke and you're in a hospital tending to their needs and you can't get back to that ship no matter what. You contact the cruise line, you tell them what happened, but you know, there's not much more you can do. But if you've got your passport and you've got your ID with you, you've at least solved that problem. The cruise line might be able to find a way to get your luggage to you. They may not. I'm not sure what the rules are on that one. But emergencies can happen at any time and you have to have your ID, okay? So take your passport with you when you leave the ship at all times. Smoking rules. On a cruise ship, they're very strict about smoking rules. If you don't follow them properly, you can literally get kicked off the cruise. They're serious. They don't kid around with this stuff. There are certain areas on the ship where you're allowed to smoke. I believe these are interior smoking rooms. Follow the lead of the cruise line. They'll guide you and keep you straight. But don't break the rules and expect no mercy if you get caught breaking these rules. Smoking on a ship is a big no-no if you're not allowed to do it in certain areas, because fire is a major enemy of cruise lines, okay? Here's a common sense tip. Don't ever threaten a staff member of a cruise ship. No matter how mad you are, no matter how frustrated you are, don't ever threaten a cruise member. Don't ever, pick a fight, like a verbal type. Don't do that. These folks are there to look after you as best they can. They'll do everything in their power to keep you happy. However, certain things happen at certain times that just may not be the fault of the cruise line. It might be Mother Nature. We don't know what causes certain things, but storms, bad weather, port cancellations. The captain calls the shots. The captain's the boss. You're not the boss. You're the passenger. You're not the captain. And the captain calls the shots. And if a hotel manager, the onboard hotel manager, has an issue with a passenger, they'll go to the captain and tell them what the issue is. And it's a one-sided story. It's their side. The captain won't come to you and ask you for your opinion on what happened. You're in the wrong. You're either going to get kicked off the cruise, and if it's serious, a serious breach, a physical assault or anything like that, you're in the brig. They have a brig on board, and they've got big security officers to take you there. Don't pick a fight with the cruise staff. Be a lover, not a fighter, because you're on a cruise. Enjoy it. Thankfully, I've never had that problem. Pace yourself with shore excursions. If you've got a 7, 8, 9, 10-day cruise and you've got 5 or 6 or 7 stops, don't make a planned stop at every single port with a full-blown 8-hour excursion day all planned out. Like with Military Precision, you're going to hate the cruise. You're just not going to like it very much. Cruise ship vacations are designed to be really relaxing times. There's party time, yeah. We see the brochures, we see the videos, we see people jumping into the pool, and we have the cannonball contest, or sometimes it's a bit of a booze cruise. But really, you're there to unwind and relax and forget about your troubles back home. And so with a regimented schedule that you've put together, it might be too much for either your companion or companions, and even for yourself. Being on a cruise is a different animal than being on a land holiday, because keep in mind, the ship's always moving when it's at sea, and if you're trying to walk down the hallway and you're moving a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, you're fighting gravity all the time, and you're using muscles in your body and your legs and your shoulders and your arms and your abdomen that you don't normally use, or you're stressing them more than you would normally stress them. Come 8, 9, 10 at night, you might be really tired that you hadn't thought, gee, at home I can stay awake till midnight. On a cruise ship, 8:30, I'm wiped. If you've got too many short excursions booked, especially long bus ride type deals, you may find on the 3rd or 4th day you're just barely hanging on, and you're not getting the value that you wanted out of this cruise. And short excursions can be expensive, so be careful of that. So don't overbook it. Take it easy. Maybe, the first port of call, yeah, you take the excursion. The second port of call, just go for a stroll, look around yourself. Third port of call, take a guided tour, something like that. Whatever. Don't take the cheapest deal that you can find on a cruise for the cheapest room that you can find on a cruise. Now, what I mean by that is something like this. You're looking for a 7-day cruise in the Caribbean in the middle of the winter time. You want to get some sunshine and some, want to see the blue tropical water and all that. Great excuse to get a cruise. And now you're looking for a deal. Who isn't looking for a deal? You find a deal. You find a deal for $449 or something like that, plus, other charges, taxes, fees, tips, that type of thing. There might be some room credits offered, who knows what. But the deal, if you dig into it now, all right, look into this deal before you just say, oh, I'm going to buy it. Find out where that room is. What kind of a room are you really talking about? There are rooms on the cruise ship that can be as low as deck 4. Inside interior rooms, where 3 rooms down is the sick bay. That's the medical room. And just ahead of you over here are the freight elevators for all that heavy freight that the staff moves up and down the ship all the time. The towels, the bedding, the dirty laundry, dirty dishes, that type of thing. Lots of noise, lots of commotion, lots of grinding and banging sounds on deck 4, deck 5. You may not want to be on that $449 cheap room for the week because you're not going to get what you wanted. What you wanted was a relaxing, idyllic type cruise to get away from it all. And what you ended up with was a hectic pace of activity all around the outside of your room and behind your room and over here, where when you got out of your room and you went up to deck 8 and deck 9, you're surrounded by all the buffet eaters and all the folks coming and going with the buffets and the restaurants and the photography department and the internet area, and you may find that it's not a relaxing ship at all. Might be nothing relaxing about it. And that deal you found for $449, had you dug in a little further, you may have found that an ocean view room, which might have been on the same deck or a couple of decks higher, was only $50 more for the whole week per person. And but it had an outside view. And so you saw sunshine, you saw the blue tropical water you wanted to visit. You got to see, some of the sights of the harbor. Or, surprisingly, for maybe $70, $80, $100 more, not a lot more, but $100 more, you could get the basic balcony room. Now, I can tell you right now, the difference between an inside room on deck 4 or 5 and a balcony room, no matter what, you take the balcony every darn time. You just do, because now you have this outside space that gives you the fresh air. It gives you the first thing in the morning view. It gives you the stars in the evening view. It gives you the all day, I'm just going to hang out on my balcony for an hour or two and read a bit of my book or my ebook, because I got my own lounger out here and I got a little table. I got my mini fridge over here with my colas in there. I can relax on my own little balcony. Now you do have that downtime, that quiet time, and you have views. You've got the sea views. That might be the better way to go. So when it comes to, a discount cruise, I'm all for saving money. Believe me, if you know my channel, if you watch my channel, I love it. I love a discount cruise. But it might be better off for you to really consider that kind of a scenario. All right. Anyway, those are a couple of do's and don'ts for newbies. I have more. I'll bring out more a little later. But thanks again for watching today. I'll kind of wrap it up here. A lot of what I'm talking about is common sense stuff, but you got to think about this stuff specifically when you're on a cruise. This is Bruce with Traveling with Bruce saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.